Welcome to the Week 2 recording for web design. And before we jump into that, just want to remind you of a few things. Here's the Week 1 work. So make sure you go through this. And Week 1 work is all in the course home area, just familiarizing you with the course. So get this work done. You have the Getting Started write-up that you'll submit, the Introduce Yourself discussion you'll do, and the My Learning Plan assignment that you'll do. So get Week 1 done before you start into Week 2. And of course, you can always look at this, how to be successful in online school. There's an 8-minute video, so check that out. It might help you out quite a bit. Okay, Week 2. So in Week 2, we're getting into the planning and organizing unit. That's right here. And we'll cover that whole unit. So you can see that for this week, you want to watch the lesson recording. You're doing that now. Complete the write-up. And this lesson recording will give you the answers to the write-up. Then you get into Section 1 and Section 2. And in Section 1, there's a Webmaster Roles assignment. Then on Thursday, or however you want to plan it, there's Section 3, and you do a portfolio structure assignment. Then you have the quiz at the end of the week. So that's the work for Week 2. So let's jump right into it. So here we are in Week 2. And of course, the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the write-up, see the questions. And remember, on the write-up, all you'll do is you'll copy all of these questions into a word processing document, and then you will find the answers, and then you'll copy and paste all the answers and everything into the Dropbox. So for the introduction section, what does this unit cover? Then we get into Section 1, list 4 things a webmaster may be responsible for. What does HTML stand for? Who invented it and when? What program we use to create? What program we use to create it, and what is the exact name of the name you'll use for the webmaster role assignment? So we'll cover those things. So we'll go back to the recording. Okay, so here we are. So introduction section. So the introduction section, this unit will cover the role of the webmaster in designing a website and the steps involved in planning and organizing a website. So that's what this unit covers. In this unit, you're going to research the basic roles of the webmaster, determine the purpose, audience, and theme of a website, learn to write proper file names, set up folders, and web directories. Now, the points for the course, don't worry about this. Always go by what the points show in the grade book. Okay, Part A. So we're in Section 1. You can see here, Section 1, there's Part A, B, C, and D. So what is a role webmaster? So we can click here. It's an individual who manages a website. That's what a webmaster is. But you can see that the webmaster can be responsible for all types of things. Making sure the web servers work properly, designing the website, creating and updating the pages, promoting the website, monitoring website traffic. So lots of things a web designer can do. Now, the internet was first developed in the 1980s as a way for educators to communicate. And there were and they had computers that would communicate with each other. But really, the language of the internet, which is HTML language, that was invented by Tim Berners-Lee, and it's called HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, in 1992, the official language of the internet. And now I think we're into like HTML5 as far as the type of coding for HTML. So you can see how the word webmaster was created. And then it was all started Netscape back in '96. Netscape was the first web browser. Now, of course, most of us use Internet Explorer, or we use Firefox or something like that. And now we're in Section 1, we're in Part C. You can see some pay for average webmasters. Webmasters can make pretty good money. So you could go, and this is actually, 5 years ago, you can go to a tech school, be trained as a webmaster in a couple of years or 18 months, and get out and make $20,000 or $30,000 to start off. And the first assignment you'll have in this unit is to do research on the roles of a webmaster. You should go to Google, Dogpile, Yahoo, whatever web browser search engine you want to use, and you're going to find information about what webmasters do. You're going to write an essay on the role that you would enjoy best. So you're going to do a couple of things. Explain what a webmaster does, and then you're going to talk about which role you would like best. So what a webmaster does and which role you'd like best. So you're going to read at least 2 websites. You're going to use Notepad for it. So you'd go down to Start, and it's probably going to be like my Notepad is right there, but I could also go to All Programs, Accessories, and find it. So I'll go to Start, Notepad. Now there, open Notepad, and here's where you'll do your work, right in Notepad. And then you do File, Save As, and you want to make sure you save it in the right place. So this I would save. I'm going to go to my Insight Block 4 folder, and I have my Web Design folder, and this is going to be in Unit 1. So that's where I would save this file, and this is going to be called, it's called Web. I'll show you what it's called in a second. But you'll see the TXT is already at the end of it, so you do not have to type that in. Otherwise, then it shows up twice. But you'll save it as this file name right here. Now, even though this file name shows capital W, capital R, go ahead and use it in this case, but usually with web pages you do not use capitalizations. So you do it in Notepad, write in your own words, do not copy and paste. You're going to have to copy and paste the web addresses of the 2 websites you use, and I hope you know how to do that. Of course, you go to the top of the screen and you get the web address, you highlight it so it's all blue, then you right click copy, then you go into your WordPad or Notepad program and you paste it right in there. And you want to make sure you're using Notepad, not WordPad. Then you save it, spell check and all that, and of course you'll just excuse me, turn it in as an attachment in the Dropbox, and you can see how you'll be graded on it. So make sure you go for the highest excuse me, I have a little bit of hay fever. Make sure you go for the highest points right here. No sense in turning it in unless you've done all of this. Don't turn in something that gets you 0 points. Do it right the first time, then you don't have to worry about it. So you submit that. That's the first thing you'll do. And let's go back to our write-up. And let's see, introduction, what does this unit cover? We talked about that. 4 things a webmaster may be responsible for. I showed you the list, didn't I? What does HTML stand for? Who invented it and when? We saw that, didn't we? What program will you use to create it? And what is the exact name we'll use for the webmaster role assignment? Well, you're going to use Notepad to create it, and the exact name is webmasterrole.txt. Okay, now we're getting into section 2. This will describe 3 main types of websites. What is the name of the first page of almost all websites? So now we're into section 2. You can see section 2 has 3 parts. So in section 2, website. So, a great website is about organizing and planning. If you organize and plan well, then chances are your website is going to look good, and hopefully it'll have good information for users. So you see here, we'll talk about a website, what is going to be the purpose of it, what do you want to choose by, or create by, or what do you want to achieve by creating the website, how do you get people to come visit your website, how do you get them to keep coming back to it. Those are the things that you need to think about. And you end up creating a skeleton, which is the layout of it, the page, the colors, the navigation, and all of that. But there are 3 types, essentially 3 types of websites: informational websites, commercial websites, and social websites. And you can read down here what each of them is. Now, the Class Connect write-up question has you explain what the 3 are. Please don't just copy and paste the whole thing. Just type the words in there. You can copy and paste the name of it, like informational website, but then type in your own words what an informational website is. Next, there's a little self-check. So go ahead through that self-check, see if you get some of those answers right. Now, website can fill an immediate need if you're doing research or need to find specific information or something like that. So, obviously, websites are very useful. They wouldn't be out there. Now, the first page of almost all websites is called index. index.html. And you'll use that as websites in this class. And you'll find out later why you do that, but that's the first name of nearly all websites. Okay, so that was section 2, so let's go back to the write-up, see if we answered the questions. This is describe 3 common types of websites. What is the name of the first page of almost all websites? Well, we answered all those, didn't we? In section 3, web file names. Should have no spaces. Give an example of a file name that looks like it's 2 words but has no spaces. I'll show you examples in a minute. There's a difference between a JPEG and a GIF. It talks about the path of a web page, and then finally the course folders. So now I'm going to go back. Now we're in section 3. So we're getting down towards the end of this. So section 3, now web file names, you can have up to 255 characters. It's not case sensitive, but most people use small letters as web files. So it doesn't matter whether it's capital or small. Now if you take a look at this, see this right here, My Documents? That could be the name of a web page. And it almost looks like 2 words, doesn't it? Because you put that underscore between. So that's how you can make a web page looks like it has 2 words, because a web page name cannot have 2 words. It has to be 1 word. So this is essentially 1 word right here. So you put that underscore in there. Basic rules for naming them. First page is always the index.html. We talked about that. Files and folders for web pages, they have to start with a letter. Only letters, digits, and underscore characters are allowed in names. Never have spaces in a file name, etc. So you can see all that. Now there's also things with images, GIF or JPEG. Those are the type of images. And the difference is, you can take a look at this. GIFs are usually drawings, animations, clip art, etc. JPEGs are photographs. So that's the difference between GIFs and JPEGs. Never use bitmap or WNF because they're way too large. PNGs are big files too. So JPEG and GIFs are the best graphic files. Always best to use lowercase for file names. Never put spaces in your file names, etc. Now here's some practice file names, so take a look at these. Faculty, like faculty and staff, that would not work because the ampersand is not a legal character. Explorers team, the apostrophe is not good. So you can see down here some different examples of appropriate web names, web page names. Now here's a little game to see how you can categorize names of web pages. So get a little practice with that. File structure. File structure is really important because that's how, in web pages, that's how you determine where things are located, how you refer back to things. And we're going to look at file structure in a second. It's going to be part of an assignment. So there are a couple of different slashes. There's a forward slash and the backslash. So make sure you use those appropriately. So you can see here, this means that it wants to find a page called index that's located in a folder called Pet Store that's located on the desktop in drive C. So that's how you can look at the path of a file. That's what the path of a file means. So in this case, the file called index is in a folder called Pet Store. So this has one folder because this is a file, this is a desktop, this is a drive, this is a folder. It only has one folder. And you watch this video, it talks about paths for folders and things like that. It's really important, so take a look at that. Now, web file structure. Take a look at this little video that's going to talk about file structure. So you need to make sure you know how the file structures work with the slashes. Now, portfolio structure assignment. Now here's where we're going to get to set up our machine so it's all ready to go. Set up our folders properly. So the first thing I want you to do is go to your desktop and you're going to create a folder called portfolio. Well, we're not going to do that because you've been told you need to have a folder for the course, right? But let's read these directions and I'll show you what you'll do. So you're going to make a folder inside portfolio called Unit 1, and then you're going to make a Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, Unit 5. Now look at this. Unit 1, see how it's small letter, all one word? That's what you want to use. Then you're going to make a folder called Images. And then once you make all these folders, then you're going to do a capture of your screen. And that's with the print screen button on your computer. Like on my computer, I have an Insight one. I would hold down Alt, and then I have a key called PRTSC, print screen. So Alt print screen, then it would make a copy of this whole screen right here. Then I paste it into a Word document. Now I'm going to go through all this work and show you how to do this. So I'll go to my folder, and you can see that in my Block 4 folder, I have a web design. Now the mistake I made here, I didn't call anything portfolio, so I'm going to do new folder, and I'm going to type portfolio. Now check this out. I'm going to put all of these things in portfolio. This is what you're supposed to have. So this is the setup you're supposed to have. So I have a web design folder in my Block 4 folder. So there's web design, and in web design I have portfolio. So I click on portfolio, and all this is in portfolio. So now I'm going to do the screen capture. So I'm going to hold down Alt print screen. I'm going to open up a blank Word document. So I did Alt print screen, then I'll hit Control V to paste. Alt print screen copies, and then I pasted it. So now I can see right here, if I zoom in, well, you can see it. I can see that I'm in the portfolio folder up here at the top, and I see these 5 folders. And then I would save this. Let me go back to see what we're told to save this as. Save it as screenshot.doc. So I'm right here, and I would do File, Save As. And when I do this, I'm going to go to Desktop. I'm going to go into my Insight Block 4 folder. Then I'll go into Web Design. Then I go into Portfolio, Unit 1, and that was called Screenshot, and that's all I need to do. I don't put the .doc because if I put .doc, then it'll have .doc, then .docx. So I'll just put the word screenshot, then the docx, excuse me, shows up on the end. And it can be this version if you want. Then I'll hit save. So now I'm saving that, and I would post that into the Dropbox. So if I go back to my folder, you can see that in Unit 1, there's my screenshot.doc. So this is what your portfolio needs to look like to get full credit. So that's the portfolio structure assignment. Very easy to do. And please, on all this stuff, look right here in this column so you get the max points. And this is very easy work. And now here's a presentation on creating folders. Most of you know how to do that. But I want to get back to this. This is very easy work. Do it right the first time so you don't have to go back and redo it. All right, next. So part F, you have the quiz, and you go over here, of course, there's the quiz, and here's the quiz preview above it. I recommend you look at the quiz preview because I do not allow you to redo quizzes. I gave you the quiz preview to help you, so you do not get to redo quizzes. So let's go back to the write-up and make sure we answered all the questions. So we're in section 3. File name should have no spaces. Give me an example of a file name that looks like it's 2 words but has no spaces. I talked about that, showed you how to do that. Explain the difference between the use of JPEG and GIFs. Talked about that, didn't we? Look at this path. Desktop, Portfolio, Unit 1, Images folder, Me. How many folders does this path have? How many folders does that path have? And finally, do you know how to make required class folders for your web design work? That's simply a yes or no, and I hope all of you say yes because I showed you how to do all that, didn't I? So that's the write-up. And again, remember on the write-up, you'll just copy all this, highlight it, right-click copy, paste it into a word processor. As you go through the presentation, you will find the answers, write them down next to each question. Then you will highlight, copy and paste the answers, the words, the numbers, all of that stuff, and you put it as text in the Dropbox. As simple as that. Okay, thanks a lot, everybody. I look forward to your work coming in. and we're just starting to get in this class, but it's really important that you do these things exactly, especially the portfolio structure. Get that set up properly. It will save you so much headache later on in the class. And remember, when you create your folders, all small letters, all one word. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.